Welcome back. And guess what? Dreams come true. Welcome my next guest, voice actor Jonah Scott.
I made it.
Yay.
Isn't it crazy? You think I'd let you do a 1-year anniversary without having me here?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Well, hello, Paulina, and hi, chat. I've been watching backstage. It's the magic of live TV. How are you guys doing?
Oh, how are you doing? It's been a year.
Yeah, lots changed. I have facial hair. My hair is longer.
Yeah.
I've grown it out. It says aged Aiden, I guess.
Aged Aiden, yeah. And I remember we met last year during recordings for Dying to Know More.
Yes. Yeah.
And we had an interview. And I have to admit that I barely remember this interview because I was so stressed back then. I don't even remember. But I remember that you were so sweet and kind to me, saying all the time that, Paulina, you're doing fine, you're doing fine.
Yeah, we have a saying.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. You were doing fine. We have a saying in theater that if you forget your performance on stage, you did a good job. So you did a good job. You forgot your performance. You forgot the whole thing.
Thank you. Okay, so it's been a year.
Yes.
So did anything change?
Well, yeah, I've made a lot of new friends. I'm a member of the Dying Light 2 community. I've been a member of the Dying Light community for years, and I've been working on this game for 6 years, and I have made so many good friends in the community, so many good friends and content creators that have been open to working with me and talking to me and workshopping ideas and all kinds of fun stuff. And with the mod coming out, we have all kinds of different cool ideas floating around. But there's been so much that's changed, and it's all for the better.
And we prepared some questions for you today, but also we'd like to give you, our audience, to have an opportunity to ask Jonah anything. So if you have any questions to him, just feel free to write it on our chat and we will answer them later.
Oh boy, spicy Twitch chat questions. Okay.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Be prepared. Okay, so do you recall any scene, a moment from Dying Light to Stay Human which was the most important for you?
Well, they were all very important. This is the first time I've literally, I say this every time I come here, but this is a dream come true. This is to be a first-person action, protagonist, action RPG protagonist is a huge deal for me. So I tried to put my entire heart and soul into every scene. And there are a few that really stand out near the end. I don't want to spoil too much, but Aiden loses a MacGuffin, and it's everything that he's worked for the entire game. And the hardest part about being a first-person action RPG protagonist is you have to convey that emotion without seeing his face. You can't really act with your face. You have to act entirely with your voice, and that was a very unique challenge. So I feel like I kind of delivered in that. Acting opposite Rosario Dawson, an A-list celebrity, I almost had to bow down at some points. I was like, oh my gosh. But the best part is, she had to go off of my lines. She had to go off of my performance. So every time going into the booth, I knew that Rosario Dawson was going to be reading opposite me, and that kind of informed a lot of choices. It informed a lot of ways that I read different lines and stuff, and that was incredible. I can't wait to see what else we get to do, and I can't wait to see where else Aiden goes, because as the story progressed, his voice changes because he's basically a different person on the other side of the story. A large part of his life has been completed. A large search has been completed, and I'm excited for DLC too because I think Timon confirmed that the story continues. So that's fun. I don't have to spoil that.
Let's talk about it later.
Okay.
And now maybe something very challenging for you. Which scene was the most challenging?
I feel like there were some scenes with a lot of character build-up. If you made the right choices, the Hakon fight, very emotional. There, let's see, near the end of the game, there's a lot of emotional denouement. Let's see, the rooftop scene with Lawan. There's a lot of fan art of that. There was a lot of opportunity for nuanced expression and subtlety and things that you don't get to do when you're screaming at the top of your lungs and you're on fire and you're fighting infected all the time. So there is a lot of definite, one in particular, when Aiden gets hanged in the beginning of the game. He gets grabbed by the residents of the bazaar and he's infected. So they try and hang the guy, and it's.
But not you.
No. They just try. They try and hang. Well, they do try and hang Aiden. And it's a lot of the efforts there I'm particularly proud of, because it's kind of hard to sound like you're getting hanged without like
Being hanged.
yeah, being hanged. But yeah, I'm proud of it all, honestly.
Okay, and any funny moments? Like,
There's a lot of funny moments, particularly when recording. We had the director, Keith Farley, who, if you look him up, he's directed a lot of video games. He's a legend in the industry. And we had horror screenwriter David Bergantino on it as well, to make sure that me and him worked together a lot to make sure that a lot of the lines were colloquial. They were, it was an English-speaking person. Obviously, Aiden sounds very American, so we had to make sure that came across with the translation from Polish. So a lot of that has to do with being a little bit dirty with the lines, messing them up, making them, having pre-life and post-life, breathing through your lines is a thing that we learned as a voice actor to add a lot of realism. And there was one, and I've seen a lot of comments about this, and I'm working on it, I promise, chat. There's something that the director called the Jonah Scott thumper. And whenever I would do a line and I needed to add a little bit of suspense to it or something like that, or Aiden is often blindsided by people's ignorance, blindsided by people's choices. So it's a lot of, he has some, there was one line entirely that it was just stuttering, and him just being like, I don't, okay, all right, fine, yeah, whatever. And that was so much fun. The Jonah Scott thumper, every time he needed to juice it up a little bit, he's like, add a little bit of that thumper. And I'm like, okay, cool, sure, I can do that, easy.
Okay.
Can't do it on every line, though.
So you mentioned DLC, but
yes,
we had our first launch of our first DLC, Bloody Ties.
Yeah.
So tell me, is Aiden from base game different than DLC, Aiden?
I think it's a continuation. The Bloody Ties DLC takes place alongside the story for Dying Light 1, so alongside Aiden's search for Mia. And he pulls a detour. He's like, all right, you know what? Let's pause this for a second and go and blow off some steam with arena combat, which is great. I would have liked the horde mode, but the challenges are amazing. The infected are great, and there's actually a pretty good storyline there too. It's a really humbling story about a father and a son, and Aiden plays a little bit of a mediator there. And in the end, you could be the champion of the arena. So there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yes, and DLC 2. I know that we can say too much, but
yeah. I've seen a lot of cool stuff.
Okay.
And
so
as a fan, I'm super excited. Yeah, go ahead. Go. Sorry.
Okay. No. I mean that I know that we can say spill too much.
Yeah.
Let's say.
But I can say what T-Bone said. It's an open world. Another tiny open world. I'm there. Aiden is not dead. And Aiden's story continues.
Okay. And you're not bored yet.
No, I am so excited to see where Aiden is going. There's a lot of really good narrative character potential there that I really want to dive into. There's so much that happened in the first game that Aiden will have to deal with. That happened, right? So and the player made those choices. So he's the one that ultimately has to bear the consequences.
Okay, so now I would like to change the subject completely.
Sure.
If I'd like to be a voice actor, what is your advice?
Jonah Scott's advice, my personal advice, is to go out on stage, go trot the boards a little bit, go do some Shakespeare, take an acting class, because in order to be a voice actor, you first got to be an actor, right? And then you can kind of specialize. I'd been a stage actor for 10 years, almost 11 years before I decided to deviate and pivot to voice acting, and now I'm doing that full time. But that was because of the experience that I had on stage that kind of made it so the transition was really easy. But if you are new and you don't know where to start, I highly recommend the website iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. That's not a joke. iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Okay. It's a website that's curated by industry legend D. Bradley Baker. If you don't know his name, you've definitely heard his voice in something. And he kind of got tired of people asking him. So he's like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make this blog. And no matter where you are in your voice acting journey, there's a place to start there. If you've never acted before, he'll give you resources on how to start. If you've acted for 10 years, he'll give you resources on how to get into the voice acting industry. It's exhaustive. There is so much content there, and I couldn't give you any more advice than what he's put down there in tomes and tomes of information.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Of course, yeah.
And do we have any questions from our community?
Come on,
oh,
chat.
yes, we have.
Chat. Oh, we do. Okay.
First one is Nate the Moth is asking, what is the most difficult aspect of being the voice of Aiden? What were some unique challenges of voicing Aiden versus voicing an anime character or a typical game character?
That's a very good question. So I guess the hardest part about being Aiden is you can't see his face. There is no expressions there. There's nothing to go off of, and occasionally there's a third-person shot or something like that. But all of the emotion, all of the narrative, all of his performance has to be told through the voice. And sometimes it gets a little bit over the top, but that's good because you need that to kind of meet everything else halfway. In anime or in animation or even in commercials sometimes, you have the face to go off of. You have lip flaps to go off of. You have eyes and eyebrows and micro expressions to kind of get the subtle nuances there. But a lot of it is giving me a lot of freedom too. So I've been able to transform Aiden into this neat little boiled down character that we've started with this big broad stroke of a character, and we've come to this pinpoint of this cool, quippy Nightwing kind of guy who, he's serious about everything that he's serious about, but he's not afraid to blow off some steam and have fun and go kill zombies in an arena.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nate.
Jesse Cox asking, if you could dropkick a zombie, what shoes would you wear for a maximum damage?
Are they called demonias? Is that what they're called? These big, black goth boots?
Yeah.
Yeah, those would hurt. They got spikes on them all over the
yeah.
place, and yeah, that was definitely an improvised weapon for sure. Or some Tims or something big and beefy.
Okay. And Shocked Hearts. Did aspect of other characters you voiced inspire your voice for Aiden Caldwell? And if so, how?
I'd actually say the opposite. Aiden, as a character, has kind of informed a lot of my other protagonist roles, even my other deuteragonist roles. There's a lot in Aiden because he's such a realistic, fleshed out character. He's got a beginning and a middle and an end. He has a whole narrative there, and it's easy to kind of pick parts. And I've done, I want to say, upwards of 10,000 lines. So there's a lot of emotional variant there that I can kind of pick and choose from. But yeah, I feel like one of the characters I'm most proud of in my my repertoire is Aiden. I pull him out every time.
Okay, thank you. And Spirits RR is asking, Jonah, what was your first reaction to being the voice of Aiden?
I squealed like a child.
Okay.
So the story there is I've been Aiden since the beginning of the game, since the impetus of pretty much the original story, and I didn't think that I would be cast as Aiden. Years went by. I would do scratch tracks in my closet with a bunch of narrative directors, and then my friend George Ledoux, who's another fantastic voice actor, and got me this job. And I didn't know where it would go. I moved to LA even. There was a lot of stuff that happened in this whole journey that I had. And I was sleeping on the floor in LA, and then I got an agent. And then I asked my agent, I'm like, hey, so we've had radio silence for about 6 months, and I kind of need you to poke them just to make sure if we get a thumbs up or a thumbs down, because I can't live like this anymore. I can't not know. And he sent an email, and the next day they're like, yeah, we couldn't think of anybody else to voice the character. And I squealed on the phone with my agent. I cried. I thanked my mom. I cannot express how freaking cool this is. It's just so cool. I get to fly to Poland and have all kinds of cool friends like you guys. It's fantastic.
Yes, cool. Kiwi Pizza 001. What are your favorite lines, Jonah?
I love when Aiden swears.
Okay.
Aiden swears with the best of them. I don't want to ruin anything here, but every time he swears, every time he has an exaggeration or something like that, an expletive, it's funny. It's funny. You feel it, and there's a lot of cool vocal techniques that I can throw on there too to make them sound really, really pissed off or really just hurt or something like that. It's so fun. I love swearing.
Okay. And the last question from You Just Got
Nepped?
Nepped.
You just got nepped? Live TV.
Jonah, what did you put in your hair?
Is there something in my hair?
Is it something?
Live TV.
Oh,
the product? I don't know. I use like, you know, I use leave-in conditioner, I guess, or shampoo. Yeah,
Obviously.
I use leave-in conditioner. I condition my hair. I take care of myself, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Okay, Jonah. Any shout-outs, particular shout-outs?
How much time we got?
Would you like to say to our community?
Okay. First of all, shout out to my mom. Shout out to the Dying Light community, which I'm a member. You guys are awesome. If any content creators want to do anything, if you want to collaborate in any sort of way, I'm available. You don't have to go through my agent. You can just talk to me. Shout out to all the other Aidens. As a guy that does a lot of anime and dubbing, I don't think, you know, other localized versions get as much credit, and they work just as hard, and they do just as many lines as me. So there's a Spanish Aiden, there's a Polish Aiden, there's a German Aiden, there's an Aiden for every language, and they deserve your respect and praise too. They did a damn good job.
Definitely.
And let's see. Oh, right. On my stream, twitch.tv/alphaanarchy, we will be playing the newest patch with Timon after this tonight.
Yes.
So from the beginning, because a lot of the stuff that has been added to the game over the past year has been quality of life improvements, and there's been some major changes, but there's been mostly quality of life improvements. And going back to the beginning of the game, it's almost like playing a different game. And I can't wait to experience that again with the narrative IP director. Like, oh my God, that's wild.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonah, for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
And thank you all, guys. Now we will need a few minutes to change the setup. We will have also a new host, so thank you for that. And let's wait for the community segment, so stay with us. Thank you.